The smell of blood was sharp in the small living room. The old clock on the wall ticked like nothing had happened, but something terrible had just been done. Daniel sat on the floor, his hands shaking, his breath coming fast and heavy. His mother's body lay beside the sofa, her eyes still open, staring at him like she couldn't believe what he'd done. He hadn't meant for it to go that far. He only wanted the money, that's all. Just enough to fix things, to start over, to escape the mess he'd made for himself. But now, she was gone, and all because of him. The silence was loud, the kind that made his ears ring. Daniel pressed his hands against his head and whispered over and over, "Mom, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to." But no words could undo what he'd done. He looked at the kitchen knife lying on the carpet, its silver edge smeared dark red. His own fingerprints were all over it. And now, sitting in that cold room, he realized there was no way out. He couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, couldn't even think straight. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw her face, that same mix of love and fear in her eyes, right before it happened. He knew he had to tell someone, maybe the cops. Maybe it was time to confess. But what would they say when they heard why he did it? That question haunted him, and it's where this story truly begins. Daniel Reed was 26, from a quiet suburb just outside Dallas, Texas. To the neighbors, he seemed like any regular young man trying to figure life out. But behind that calm smile and polite nods was a storm, one that had been building for years. Daniel had always wanted to make something of himself. His mom, Margaret Reed, worked 2 jobs just to keep food on the table and pay for his college. She believed in him more than anyone else did. "You've got a good head on your shoulders, Danny," she would always say. "Don't waste it chasing shortcuts." But shortcuts were exactly what Daniel wanted. College was hard, bills piled up, and while his friends seemed to be getting ahead, nice cars, nice apartments, flashy phones, Daniel was barely scraping by. He dropped out his 3rd year and didn't tell his mom right away. Instead, he pretended everything was fine. Every night, he'd walk home through dark streets, his mind full of guilt and frustration. He wanted quick money, the kind that didn't need a degree or patience. That's when he met Kevin. Kevin Mason was one of those guys who always had cash, always wore new sneakers, a gold chain, and smelled like expensive cologne. He told Daniel about a way to make real money, flipping small electronics, doing favors for people who didn't want their names in the mix. It sounded sketchy, but Daniel was desperate. At first, it was easy. Quick runs, quick pay. He'd pick up something from one place, drop it at another, no questions asked. But soon, those favors turned into things Daniel wasn't proud of. He told himself it was just temporary, until he got back on his feet. But trouble finds those who chase it. One day, Kevin disappeared, just gone, and with him went $7,000 of Daniel's money. Money that didn't belong to him in the first place. It belonged to someone else, someone who wasn't going to let it slide. The calls started coming a week later. A voice Daniel didn't recognize, deep and cold. "You owe us 2 weeks. Don't make me come find you." Daniel panicked. He had no job, no savings, and no one he could ask for help, except his mom. But how do you tell your mother you owe dangerous people thousands of dollars? How do you admit you've lied about college, about your life, about everything? He didn't. Instead, he told her he needed money to pay for school stuff. Books, a new laptop, tuition fees. Margaret was hesitant. "Danny, I sent money last month. "Are you sure this is for school?" she asked softly. He forced a smile. "Yeah, Mom, I promise." She sighed. "All right, I'll see what I can do." She went into her bedroom and came back with an envelope. "It's not much," she said, "but maybe this can help." Inside was $600, all she could spare from her rent money. Daniel took it, thanked her, and left. But it wasn't enough, not even close. 2 weeks later, the men came looking for him. A black car parked outside his building at night. A knock on the door at 2 a.m. When he didn't answer, they left a note. "You have 3 days." That was when fear began to eat him alive. He hadn't eaten in 2 days, barely slept. His hands shook constantly. He needed more money. Fast. And the only person left to ask was the one person he should have protected: his mother. When he showed up at her house that evening, she was watching her favorite show, a cup of tea in hand. "Danny, you look pale," she said, concerned. "Are you okay?" He nodded, trying to act calm. "I'm fine, Mom. Just tired." She smiled gently. "You want dinner? I made your favorite, chicken pot pie." For a moment, everything felt normal. The smell of food, the sound of the TV, her soft voice. But deep down, Daniel's heart was pounding. He waited for the right moment. After dinner, he told her he needed help again. This time, more money. "Danny," she said, her voice trembling, "I don't have any more. I just paid the bills. I can't keep giving you money like this. What's going on?" He couldn't look at her. "It's just school stuff again," he lied. But she knew. Mothers always do. "You're not in school anymore, are you?" she whispered. Daniel froze. His throat went dry. "Danny, please tell me the truth," she said softly. "What have you done?" Her voice cracked. Not angry, just scared. Something inside Daniel snapped. The fear, the pressure, the shame. It all boiled over. "I just need the money," he shouted, his voice shaking. "Stop lying to me!" she yelled back, tears filling her eyes. He grabbed her wrist, begging. "Mom, please, I'm in trouble. They'll kill me." She tried to pull away, but in that moment of chaos, his hand reached for the kitchen knife on the counter. He didn't even think. It just happened. One movement, one scream, then silence. The knife clattered to the floor. Her teacup rolled off the table and shattered. He stood frozen, staring at his mother's body, the red spreading fast across her shirt. And that was the moment everything broke. Now, 2 days later, Daniel sits alone in the same house, the air still thick with guilt. The men who threatened him haven't called back. The money on the counter feels cursed. Every creak in the house makes him jump. He hasn't told anyone, not yet. But tomorrow, he plans to walk into the police station. He wants to confess, but just before sunrise, something happens. A sound outside the window, a car door slamming, footsteps approaching the porch. Daniel's heart races. Is it the cops or the people he owes? He moves closer to the window, his breath trembling. He can see a shadow through the curtain, standing still by the front door. Then, a loud knock, 3 times. Daniel freezes. And that's where everything begins to fall apart. The knock came again. 3 slow, heavy thuds against the wooden door. Daniel's chest tightened. His hands trembled as he stepped backward, staring at the door like it might burst open at any moment. His breath came fast, uneven. He didn't know if he should hide, run, or answer. The knocking stopped. For a moment, everything went quiet again, except for the pounding of his heartbeat in his ears. He tiptoed toward the window, lifted the edge of the curtain, and peeked outside. A man stood by the porch, tall, wearing a dark hoodie, hands buried in his pockets. The streetlight behind him made it hard to see his face. Daniel's stomach twisted. It wasn't a cop. The man looked around once, then leaned close to the door and whispered something Daniel couldn't hear. He tried to listen harder, holding his breath. The whisper came again, clearer this time. "Danny, open up. We need to talk." Daniel's eyes widened. He knew that voice. Kevin. The same Kevin who vanished with the money. The same Kevin who'd dragged him into all this. For a moment, relief washed through him. Kevin was alive. Maybe he could fix this. Maybe he still had the money. But that small spark of hope died fast. If Kevin was here, that meant he knew what Daniel had done. Or worse, he was working with the men who wanted the money back. Daniel took a shaky breath, gripping the doorknob. "Kevin?" he called out quietly. "Yeah, man, open up. We gotta talk. It's important." Daniel hesitated. Every instinct told him not to open that door. But the silence of the house was unbearable, and the weight of his guilt made him desperate for someone, anyone, to talk to. He slowly turned the knob. Kevin stepped inside, his eyes darting around the room. "You look like hell, bro," he said, shutting the door behind him. "What happened to you?" Daniel's voice cracked. "Where have you been? You took off and left me here. They came after me, Kevin. They wanted the money back." Kevin sighed, rubbing his neck. "Yeah, I know. Things got messy. I had to disappear for a bit." Daniel's hands balled into fists. "Disappear? They said they'd kill me." Kevin raised his hands. "Calm down, man. I'm trying to fix it. I got a deal coming. I can pay them back soon. You just gotta chill." Daniel's face twisted with anger and fear. "Chill? He stopped mid-sentence as Kevin's eyes fell on the floor. Kevin frowned. His gaze followed the dark stain near the couch, and then to the corner, where a small patch of red still marked the carpet. "What the hell is that?" he asked quietly. Daniel froze. His throat felt dry. Kevin looked up at him. "Danny, what did you do?" Daniel's voice was barely a whisper. "I didn't mean to. I just needed the money. I thought she wouldn't listen." Kevin's eyes widened in horror. "You didn't?" "No, man. Tell me you didn't." Daniel stepped back, shaking. "I didn't mean to. It just happened. I lost control." Kevin cursed under his breath and ran his hand through his hair. "Oh, Jesus. You killed your mom?" Daniel's chest heaved. "I didn't want to. I just wanted the money to fix everything." Kevin took a step back, staring at him like he was looking at a stranger. "You're insane. Do you realize what you've done? They're gonna fry you for this, man." Daniel sank to his knees. "I'm going to the cops. I can't live with this." Kevin shook his head. No, you can't do that. If you talk to the cops, they'll trace everything back to me too. The deals, the deliveries. You'll ruin both of us." Daniel looked up, desperate. "I don't care. I just want it to stop." Kevin's face hardened. "You don't get it, Danny. Those guys already know you're connected to me. If you confess, they'll come for me. And for you. And trust me, they won't just sit back while you play hero." Daniel stared at him, fear filling his eyes. "So what do we do?"